This is actually a difficult episode for me to record because in doing so, I'm going to have to admit some things that I did in my life that led me to anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues that were very difficult to overcome. But looking back, it was things that I actually did, choices that I made, things that maybe I could not admit that led me to that path. So I'm going to attempt today to record the most profound, life-changing episode I've ever recorded since I've been doing podcasts, ever. And I have to share the truth. Because if I don't share the truth, then what good is it? And if you can learn from mistakes that I made in my life, then I think I'm helping at least one other person, but hopefully a lot more people than that. I am a dentist by profession. When I got into dentistry, I never felt that it truly resonated with me. I had a very successful dental practice, but what I ended up doing was selling my practice and becoming a dental speaker. I would speak to dental audiences all over North America with my brother, who's also a dentist, and we became very successful in helping other dentists and team members make their dental practices extremely successful. Anybody looking from the outside would have thought that these guys are on top of the world. Sure, I was making a lot of money, a lot of prestige. If you were in the dental profession anywhere in the 90s and early 2000s and even now, you would have heard of me most likely. I was a famous dentist, sharing the stage with other incredible dental speakers all over North America and the world. The problem was I was doing something that I didn't feel was 100% true to me. And no matter how good the money is, I was speaking to audiences almost every day on a topic that I was not 100% passionate about. Sure, I was really good at what I did, but I felt that I had to fake my way through it as far as who I really was, the clothes I wore, my demeanor on stage, things that I had to be very careful about not saying. I felt like I wasn't really the absolute true me. And it's really funny. I just came across a video that my brother and I did. It was back in 2000, I think it was 2018, something like that. And I looked at this video. I looked at a thumbnail, a still shot of the video. And I thought to myself, is that really me? I don't look like I'm into this. I look like I'm faking it. My face doesn't look good. It's almost embarrassing. Why was I doing this? For the money? Maybe. But I also felt that in my life, I needed to do what was absolutely 100% true to me. I'm from Maryland. I lived in Maryland almost all of my life. I liked it when I was younger, but as I grew older, even the Baltimore, Maryland area did not really resonate with me. I didn't feel like I belonged there. In 2019, my wife and I made a tremendous decision. We pretty much sold almost everything we owned, packed up what little we had left in our little RV van and a car, along with our cat, and we drove to Salt Lake City, Utah. We didn't even know what was going to happen there, but we love the mountains, we love skiing, we love being outdoors, and we just felt like being out west would resonate with us a lot more than being on the East Coast. We pretty much gave away or donated almost every single thing we owned. And we had a lot of stuff, just stuff that didn't necessarily make us happy. So we arrived in Salt Lake City, rented a house, very little responsibility. When you rent a house, all you have to do is just write a rent check every month, and the responsibility is on the landlord. And we started a new life here. You would think everything would be perfect from then on. But I'm not so sure it was. You see, for some reason, I had anxiety still creeping into my life. I had some depression. I felt weird on most days. I was still working as a dental speaker, even though I was in a different location. I could still travel to my speaking gigs. I had to do a lot of consulting and podcasting online. And something just wasn't really right. My anxiety, instead of getting better, was getting worse. I didn't know where it was coming from. I remember waking up in the middle of the night one night, and I felt so anxious for no reason, for no apparent reason. I didn't even know why. I took my blood pressure, and it was extremely high in the middle of the night, extremely high. And I was scared to death. I ended up going to the hospital, and I don't know, I could have died. And it was that moment that I said to myself, I have to make a change in my life, or else I don't know how much longer I'm going to be around. And a lot of this was mental, although I did have some physical issues as well. But I started seeing a psychiatrist in Salt Lake City, talk therapy, put me on some pharmaceuticals, antidepressants, and nothing really seemed to work that well. I mean, the antidepressants, yeah, they helped a little bit, maybe 50%, but I'm not the type of person that wants to live a 50% life. I want things to be really, really, really good. At the same time, my blood pressure was up. I was having sleep issues. I had a lot of pain in my body. I was tired all the time. It was just, things were really, really going downhill. I didn't know what to do. I finally found an answer in some plant medicine, which I'm not going to really discuss much on this episode, because if I do, it's hard to explain this, but the algorithms, especially on YouTube, start to mess with me, and I can't really get as many people as I want to see this episode. And this, again, I think this is going to be one of the most important episodes I ever record. So if you're not sure about what I did, check the title of my podcast and it might become a little bit clearer, but I don't really want to talk about that much on this episode. But in most of my other episodes, I talk about it a lot. I discovered this way to take care of my anxiety and depression, and I would say in a very short time, my life started changing in a way that I never, ever, ever could have imagined. I started feeling healthier, not only mentally, but also physically. And this medicine helped point me in the direction of what to do with my body and with my life. I am a firm believer that if you have some type of depression or anxiety or other mental health issues, I'm a firm believer that in almost all cases, it has to do with something that you have actually done in your life or something that you're doing in your life. It might be the people you're hanging around with. It might be your relationship you're in. It might be your job, your profession, your work. It could be a multitude of things, but in general, and I'm not saying this is 100%, but in general, it's not just a biochemical disorder where you have something's going on in your body and you just feel depressed and anxious all the time. It's normally due to life events that have taken place or that are taking place in your life, almost always. Some people might argue with me, but I stand very firm on that, because most of us have craziness in our lives. Have you ever thought about your life? Are you living your life exactly in a way that's true to you? I mean, exactly. Are you doing what you want every single day? You might say, no, I've got to work and I've got to make money, and I don't really love my work, but I've got to do this to bring home money and put food on the table. Well, again, I disagree with that, because I think there's always something we can do that we love. And when you living a life and doing things that you love every single day, all of a sudden our health, again, both mental and physical, starts to improve in a way that you would never believe. But it takes guts to do this. Look, as I said, I was a practicing dentist. I had a thriving dental practice, but I had to admit to myself at some point that this wasn't the right thing for me. I couldn't do this for the rest of my life, or else I don't know what it would have done to me. It probably would have, I'm sure it would have killed me early. It just, I wasn't living my true life. And you can fake it and fake it and fake it until something really bad happens to you. And I did not want to get to that point. So I changed. I sold, like I said earlier, I sold my dental practice, and I went in to become a dental speaker and a dental coach and developed some dental products, and it actually owned a very large dental conference. And that was really, really fun for a while until it wasn't. And when it became not fun anymore, I could have kept going and faked my way through it, but I said to myself, I need to take a sabbatical and get out of this and do something that I love every single day. And that's exactly what I did. And I dedicated my life to health and happiness and living every single day with intention and not faking my way through anything, and being with the right person, the right partner, hanging with the right friends, hanging with the right people, and not hanging around with people that are negative or I'm not vibrating on the same frequency with. Life's too short for that. Here is, if you're watching this on YouTube, here's a picture of me just 6 or 7 years ago or so, recording a webinar with my brother. Look at me. Look at my face. I was 6 years younger than I am now. But you could tell in my expression and in the way my face looked and the way I carried myself that I was not living the right life as compared to the way I look now. Now, I'm not saying I'm the most beautiful person on the planet, and I don't care and I don't intend to be. But if you look at the way I look now, I would say it would be hard to argue that I'm not happier and healthier than I was 6, 7, 8 years ago. And that's just a screenshot of the video. I can show you many more pictures and videos of the way I looked, and I wasn't living the true life. I am convinced that most people have something going on where they're not living their true life either, and it might be you. And if it is you, I urge you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And in the show notes, I'm also going to put a link to my email, because I put out an email newsletter a couple times a week that I'm helping people all over the world live their best lives ever. It's very simple what I do, what I teach, but I have proven this over and over and over again that I can change people's lives when they're just not feeling the love, when they're just feeling stressed, not happy. Speaking of happiness, where would you say you are on the happiness scale? From 0 to 10, where are you on average every day? 0 to 10, 0 being the least happy you could possibly be, 10 being the most. If you can't answer that you're a 9 or above, then you need to stick with me, because I can get you there. I can say without hesitation, I can look you right in the eye and say that my happiness level is a 10. And it's only because I've taken the steps, the necessary steps in my life, and they're not difficult, but I've taken the necessary steps and I've worked on my life in such a way that I've gotten my life from, let's say, I don't know, just say from a 5 or a 6 happiness level to a 10 every single day. I'm living the exact life that I want to. I'm living in the place that I want to. I'm doing what I want to do every single day. I'm with the right people. And when you combine all these together, along with some of the other things that I do and teach, again, check the title of this podcast, life totally changes. And I'd say a 180-degree turnaround. And you will feel better than you've ever felt in your life. I will guarantee that. Nothing I teach is medical advice. I just share my story. And it's a fairly simple story. It's straightforward. There's nothing elaborate to this thing. But I had the guts, basically, to make changes that absolutely changed the way I look and feel every single day. How about you? Be honest right now. How do you feel every single day? Do you struggle with things? Do you have something that you feel that might be some depression or anxiety, unhappiness, stress? I don't think we were put on this planet to feel that way. I believe we were put here to live our absolute best lives ever with happiness and health and helping others and much more than that. Money is important to an extent. I wouldn't say I'm a wealthy person, but I've got enough, and I realize I have enough to be very comfortable and do what I want to do, but I can't do anything I want. And that's probably a good place to be. I've basically designed my life in such a way that I am so appreciative. And not only that, but I'm so appreciative that I've been teaching other people how to do this for quite some time now, and it's getting better and better and better. I can't think of a better time as I'm recording this, and I'm going to be releasing this on New Year's Day. I can't think of a better time to share this information, because now you can say you want to make this year the absolute best year of your life ever. And whether you're watching this on New Year's Day or listening to this on New Year's Day, or it's in the middle of the summer, or it doesn't really matter when it is, because this information I'm sharing with you and this channel is going to get you to finally live the life that you really have dreamed of and maybe thought that you couldn't do. Maybe thought you could never achieve this. I hear so many people every day saying things like, well, it's not perfect, but, I'll do the best I can. Nothing's perfect. Well, I disagree with that. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I think your life can be as close to perfect as you can imagine. I honestly do, but it's going to take some changes, and the changes are not necessarily all that difficult. And if you follow me, you will learn exactly what the changes are. As I'm recording this, I am going to be 70 years old in 5 months. I ski, I run, I hike, I skateboard, I roller skate. I believe that age is just a number. We can't do anything about the number, but we can do a lot about how we feel, what we do, how we take care of our bodies, our health, both mental and physical. We can totally control that. I honestly believe that. And again, my passion is sharing this with you and other like-minded people. So I really want to say I appreciate you being here with me today. I am changing the world one person at a time, and one person at a time is totally fine with me, because I've got a lot of things coming up that I know are going to resonate with you in a big way. So I really appreciate you watching or listening. It doesn't matter what platform you're on. My name is Dr. Dave, and also I recently recorded an episode called Retake Control of Your Life Using These 4 Words. You can click on it right now, and I think it's going to totally change the way you feel when you get yourself into certain situations, and you will now be able to take control. Go ahead and have a peek at that one, and I'll see you next time.